Shaitanir Rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukr to Allah, we are alive and have another Jumu'ah to remember Him and to become clear. The Quran says, keep reminding the believers for reminding benefits the believers. Reminding benefits. Keep reminding for reminding benefits the believers. And so, what are we reminding ourselves of here? And the first and most important thing is that while we are here, it is for us to become conscious. Because all human beings are unconscious to some degree or another. This is why the Quran says, until guidance comes to people, they are unconscious, living subconsciously, and thus are insecure. You understand? People who are aware and experience security will live consciously. They live with awareness and they will live with expansion in their being. They will live differently. The believers are the secure. Mu'min means the secure. Those of us who have been unconscious and have been, when I say unconscious, means like unaware, and we're living subconsciously, which means living below a conscious level of awareness. We live with insecurity. And so guidance comes to humanity. And those who are open to the guidance and receive that guidance, they will no longer be astray. No longer will their hearts remain diseased. You understand? And so the Quran says that our purpose here is to purify our hearts. The Quran is a book that is given to us to support the purification of our hearts. And the Quran tells us nothing in this world, not our wealth, not our children, the things that people usually think is the most important, is going to avail us in the hereafter, except those who bring to Allah a purified heart. So, what does it mean to have a heart purified? Again, to be purified means first it wasn't, and then it's cleansed. You get what I mean? A sound heart. A heart that is sound. Only those who bring to Allah a heart that is pure, a heart that is healthy, a heart that is sound, that's going to benefit us. Our purpose is to become more conscious, live consciously rather than living unconsciously, and live, rather than living unawarely, live consciously, and rather than living subconsciously, like below the level of awareness, to live from the level of awareness. And if we live without awareness, then we live sub-awareness, subconsciously. And so our main purpose here is to learn, is to grow, is to develop, is to expand beyond insecurity into security, to live as believers, to actually become believers. Because before guidance comes to us, we're unaware, we're unconscious, we live with diseased hearts, insecure, we live subconsciously. You get what I mean? So the Quran guides us to truth. Beyond the way we've been living in the trances, the satanic trances, Quran guides us into truth. And so the primary and most important truth is that of our Creator. To be conscious of our Creator. To live God consciously. If we live in this world and we live without the guidance of our Creator, that there is a Creator, and who our Creator is to us, what our Creator is to us, if we live in the world without the guidance of establishing a relationship with our Creator, then we will live worshipping Shaitan. The Quran says that do not worship Shaitan, worship Allah. You understand what that means? It means that when we're living our lives, until we worship Allah, until we become aware of Allah and have a relationship with Allah. We are worshipping shaitan. This is what happened with Adam and Eve. They had some kind of influencing by Satan, and they then perceived themselves illusorily or erroneously as being immortal, like there's no God anymore, they are the gods, and the children of Adam, we are the gods. We live in a world where we deny, where the denial of God. The Quran says, do not let the chief deceiver deceive you about Allah. The Quran says, do not let Satan deceive you as he deceived your foreparents. What was the deception? To enter into a state of a false sense of our existence as independent of Allah, like we exist and the world exists, denying that we are temporarily created beings in a temporarily created world, that Allah alone truly exists as eternal, as all-powerful, as all-knowing. See, so human beings got lost in their minds, and through their minds identified with this world, and they then denied Allah. Kufr means to deny. And then they associated partners with Allah. They take gods other than God, including things of this world, to depend on that cannot benefit us. We think that somebody or something in this world, in the created world, has power. Or we think we have power in the created world. Get what I mean? It's association. Or have ideas about gods, deities. Relating to God as God is a deity is an error. There is no deity. There is only Allah. Alone, Allah is our creator, source, sustainer, supporter, satisfier, supply. Our cause, our continuer, our carer, our considerer, our championer, our cherisher. See, the Quran guides us to actually become aware of Allah and our relationship with Allah, one of submission. That only Allah actually exists. And nobody and nothing is anywhere close to Allah. Allah is the incomparable. Allah is unique, the supreme. Nothing in His creation compares with Him. There's nothing that can be likened unto Allah. There's nothing you can think of. Allah is unique, supreme. And before we have a relationship with ourselves and our bodies and our lives and other people, we are guided to have a relationship with Allah, a relationship of submission. You understand? This is the message of the Quran, the message guiding humanity out of the darkness into the light, that we are unconscious until guidance comes to us. Those who receive the guidance, we will no longer have a diseased heart. We will begin the purification of our hearts. This is our path. This is our purpose here. There is no other purpose that is our priority. While we are here, we are in this world, and we can live also, interested in the quality of our lives and relationships with others and having people, things, and experiences. But that's not our purpose. If you live your life with your main concern being people, things, and experiences, this world, if you're lost in dunya, if you're unaware of akhirah, then chances are you don't know your priority. You don't know that you are in this world, and how you live in this world will determine the quality of your life in this world through your death and beyond. You won't know. You understand? If you are in a trance, if you are in under satanic control, if Satan is whispering to you, if you worship Satan, if you are unconscious, subconscious, if your heart is remaining diseased, if guidance hasn't come to you, if guidance has come to you and you turn your back, if the world is more important to you, you are in a trance of immortality and a world that will not perish, you still worship Satan. Until you awaken and realize that this world is created, it's secondary. Allah is alone, the primary. And Allah's relating to us is what it's all about. Until you respond to Allah's relating to you, first is to recognize Allah and His wonderful nature. You get what I mean? To have that relationship with Allah, submission, that only Allah is real. To submit your mind and everything, to focus on and feel about our Creator with excessive focus and strong feeling. To give exclusive attention to Allah, to focus beyond this world onto the Creator. See, that is submission, that only Allah exists, and everything created has come into existence by the will of Allah. But only Allah actually exists unique and supreme. Allah alone is for us to be interested in. Allah is alone for us to be impressed with. Allah is, and Allah is the worship worthy. Allah is, and Allah is the praiseworthy. Allah is, and Allah is the trustworthy. Allah is, and Allah is the thankworthy. Allah is, and Allah alone is for us to worship and turn to remorsefully receiving the compassionate protection and forgiveness of Allah. Allah accepts forgiveness till the last breath you have on this earth. You can be remorseful, you can be repentant. Allah forgives, never despair. And Allah progresses us. We can turn to Allah. Allah finds the way from sources unknown, ways unexpected. Allah is available not only to compassionately protect us, but Allah is available to caretakingly progress us in this world. We can stop being controlled by things and stop trying to control things. We can stop trying to control Allah to control things. And we can experience that security with Allah. And as we experience that security in times of problems, instead of focusing on problems and feeling about problems, we focus and feel about Allah. And we feel secure. Allah is adequate, Allah is sufficient. And we experience being caretakingly progressed. Allah is a dissolver of problems. Shukr to Allah. And Allah has created us as human beings, caused us to be in this world through our death and beyond. The hereafter is the eternal life. Guidance is here for us. We are created as the highest life form on earth. We are shown in the Quran that we are to use reason, that Allah gave us reason, we are to use reason, that we are told in the Quran we are created in the best of forms, the best of molds, the best of creation. In Islamic teaching, we are the most noble of creation, preferred over other creation on earth, the highest life form. And Allah has created us empowered. Allah has created us not only to exist, but to exist as the highest levels, empowered, but created to excel. We are created to live at the highest levels we were created to live at, to excel. We are created to express joyfully, experience enjoyably. We are distinguished from other life forms, from animals. There is for us to connect with peace and love, to become aware of Allah's nature as loving and compassionate and merciful. We have been created, given the ability to be aware. We as human beings can become aware of Allah's absolute value, to us. Allah's absolute relevance to us. Allah's incomparable, alone importance to us. Allah's favoring of us. Allah has privileged us. We can become aware of that. We can recognize what we created as the highest life form. We can recognize Allah is the precious, and we have the precious. And the caring of Allah has been given to us. We don't have to demand it. We don't have to force it. We can recognize Allah's nature is Ar-Rahman, merciful, Ar-Rahim, compassionate. You get what I mean? We can become Allah conscious is what I'm saying. And we can experience the security that the animals and plants and insects will never experience. We can experience that peace and that love. We can experience the peace of Allah, the patience of Allah. We can experience the love of Allah. We can experience being loved by Allah. We can experience the compassion of Allah. We can experience Allah's compassion on us. We can experience Allah's kindness. We can experience being kind. We can experience being compassionate and loving and peaceful and patient. We can experience that. Animals can't do that. We can enjoy Allah's favors, that He created us, put love and compassion in our hearts, that we may take from ourselves partners who have love and compassion for us, and that we may have love and compassion for our partners. It's there. Not everybody will want to be aware of Allah's compassion and love. People are busy looking after themselves, thinking that they depend on themselves. People are looking after other people, they're thinking other people depend on them. People are trying to get other people to look after them. But people are not aware. They haven't submitted to Allah to recognize what compassion and love is. And therefore, they cannot access the compassion and love, the godliness that's in them. They can't access that. But we could. if we receive the guidance, and if we submit it, if we're willing to go beyond how we've been living, if we're willing to go beyond the satanic identities, the rigid identities of unawareness, of disbelief, of faithlessness, of living in our head, of living as machines, and if we allowed ourselves to become aware and experience Allah consciousness, we'd know the precious nature of Allah, the absolutely valuable nature of Allah. We'd know that Allah's valuing of us, what we've been given, we'd know it. We'd recognize the value that we have as humans, that we have human esteem, that Allah has created us to not depend on anybody or anything created, to rely only upon Him. See, if we submit, if we become aware of Allah, then we have a different experience with Allah. We have an experience of security with Allah. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. Verily, when a human being becomes aware of Allah, their hearts experience assurance. See, the Quran tells us that it is Satan that threatens people with insecurity and causes them to behave in ways unseemly. But Allah extends His forgiveness upon us. See, the forgiving nature of Allah. How many people actually know the forgiving nature of Allah? You know, how many people know that Allah extends His forgiveness to you and extends of His bounties to you? Not only does Allah forgive you, but Allah says, come forward and receive what I have given to you. Live at a higher level. Desire higher. Live at a higher level of humanity. Get what I mean? This is the opportunity that exists for us. This is the path. This is our purpose here. So what I want to emphasize today is that the importance of living, claiming the refuge with Allah. Last week I did say that Allah has guided us, that we have diseased hearts, but we are to bring to Allah a purified heart. We are influenced by Satan, but it is through our devout worship of Allah that Satan will have no effect on us. The Quran says, over the devout servants of Allah, Satan will have no authority. Those who know that Allah is alone the one authority, autonomous, the one all-powerful, the one all-knowing, those who know Allah as unique and supreme, those who focus and feel about Allah, those that recognize the worship-worthiness of Allah, the praiseworthiness of Allah, those who are trusting in Allah, who have faith in Allah, those who are thankful, grateful, those who can recognize, realize Allah's greatness and graciousness, those who can recognize Allah's gifting of us and what we are created as and what opportunities we have. See, Satan will have no authority over them. But if you don't choose Allah consciousness, if you don't choose submission, if you don't choose to recognize what is the guidance, I am insecure, I am unaware, I am not experiencing, I am living thinking because I can earn money, I'm sorted in life. Because I got a business, I'm sorted in life. Because I got somebody looking after me, I'm sorted in life. I got something that I depend on in this world. If you live like that, you will not experience Allah's good in this world and the world beyond. The Quran tells us plainly, those who fail to remember Allah will live a depressed life. You get what I mean? You want to live feeling abandoned in this world, not recognizing that Allah never abandoned anybody. Allah is available right here. He says, say to my servants, I am near. Tell them I'm available immediately. And I respond. See, it's for us to have a relationship with Allah as a protector, provisioner, provider, progressor, prosperer, the producer, the perpetuator, the promoter, the privileger. You understand? Allah is our personal assistant, having personal concern of us. If we don't have a relationship with Allah, we will continue to live feeling abandoned by our parents, and we might be like, feeling abandoned, trying to get somebody else to be our parents, or trying to be somebody else's parents, or trying to be our own parents. People, until they have that relationship with Allah, will never really live as empowered adults. We'll always live as children. We'll be like children saying, I need somebody to look after me. You get what I mean? Or we'll be like, I need to look after other people. Then I'll have people stay with me. People will love me if I look after them. Or we'll say, no, I got my job, and all I got to do is just be selfishly taking care of me. You know what I mean? Allah is not taking care. So until you submit, you will never really live as an empowered adult. You get what I mean? Until you start realizing, I am insecure. Until you begin to say, this is where everybody starts. Don't take it personally. That if I said to you that you are not really submitted, the Quran says, don't say you're a believer when Iman has not entered into your hearts. Don't say you're a believer. Don't say you're a believer when Iman has not entered into your hearts. Rather say you're submissive in religion, but don't say you're a believer. So some of you might say, but I grew up in a Muslim home, we do this and we do that, and big night and this and that, Have you submitted to Allah? Are you aware of Allah? Do you have a relationship with Allah? That Allah alone is first, you worship Allah, you turn to Allah. Not to yourself, not to other people. Do you encourage people to turn to you? Come to me, I'll help you. I'll tell you the fatwas. I'll tell you what's right and wrong. Come to me, I will guide you. You understand? Allah, if you believe in Allah, He'll guide your heart. If you believe in Allah, He'll guide your heart. The Quran is very plain. It tells us about Satan. It tells us that we are insecure. It tells us until guidance comes to you, until you receive the guidance, you will remain diseased and Allah will leave you to stray. There are many who say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they do not believe. Allah says they fool themselves thinking they fool Allah. In their hearts is a disease. Allah leaves and they are astray. Allah leaves them to stray, and that disease is expanded. God forbid that we be among those people who Allah has left to stray. For Quran says, those whom Allah has left to stray, none can guide. Those whom Allah has left to stray, none can guide. I am aware that I am insecure. I am aware that I might not be aware completely. I am aware that I am not completely aware of the compassionate and loving nature of my Creator, the sufficiency of Allah. Say to the believers, Allah is sufficient to you. The Quran says Allah is sufficient for the believers. You see, Allah is sufficient for. If you know Allah is sufficient, you're a believer. If you're aware and you're relating to Allah, you're feeling that appreciation and the joy that I have. I'm created to not depend on anybody, free. I'm created given value. Allah has created us, Ashraful Makhlukat, the most noble of creation. We're given reason. We have given status and standing. The more you can be grateful. Remember what the Quran says? Satan stands on the path and renders people ungrateful. Kafuran. See, if you are kafuran, there are people who say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they are kafuran. They're not really aware of Allah. They're not really rejoicing Allah's precious nature. They don't feel that Allah is enough, that we have what we require. You understand? Allah is what we require. Who? Who requires Allah? The one who's receiving the guidance. The one who realizes, hey, I have negative propensities. I have ways of thinking that hold me back. I have ways of feeling that keep me down. I have ways of behaving, withholding from Allah, withholding from myself, withholding from my body, my life, withholding from other people. I am withholding. Until we go beyond withholding from Allah. You understand? That means you're kafuran. You're a concealer, you're a denier. Until you start giving to Allah, until you start giving to yourself, your body, your life, Allah's good in this world. Until you start giving to others, until you start letting others who can give to you. Until you start receiving the giving of others, that means you're giving to yourself what Allah has given in the world to you. Until you start giving, you're kafuran. So many people don't want to hear that. But I heard it, and I hear it, that even now I am in error. I wrong my own soul, I'm sorry. But Allah is my refuge. Allah has guided me that I require a refuge. And Allah has guided me that He is my refuge. Allah is my protector. From what? From the whisperings of Satan, from the negative propensities in me. Wherever I am in error, wherever I am in a trance, wherever I am not championing truth, I'm championing trances. Wherever I am not multidimensionally aware and experiencing, I'm living unconsciously and subconsciously. I have Allah to guide me to truth over the trances. I have Allah to guide me into awareness beyond time and space. aware and experiencing. I can have Allah to guide me to be humble rather than arrogant. I have been arrogant. I am arrogant to some degree, but I have Allah to guide me to humility. I choose humility over arrogance. I have Allah to guide me to appreciative acceptance rather than entitlement. I should have whatever. I should have just been. I don't need to say thank you to Allah. I should have been a human being. I'm entitled. I should exist. I should exist as a human being. I should just have eyes to see, ears to hear. All this is my right. Allah had to give it to me. I demanded it, No. I'm not entitled to anything. Everything that I am, everything that has been given to me I have never earned it. Allah's grace is upon me. I will not deny Allah, the greatness. I will humble myself before Allah. It is Allah who created me. It is Allah who continues me. Because of Allah I exist. Because of Allah I continue to exist in this world. Because of Allah I will die and be raised up again. Because of Allah. Not because of me, not because of any human being, but because of Allah. I will acknowledge Allah every day. And I will claim that refuge with Allah, that humility. I will choose to be humble rather than arrogant. I will be appreciatively accepting rather than feeling entitled and living, worshipping Satan like entitled. And Allah must just give me more. I'm not going to say thank you for what I have. I just don't understand why He hasn't given me more. And He should give me more, and I'm angry with Him. Entitlement, I go beyond that. I go beyond the darkness of denying and dismissing and disowning, and I choose to be grateful. I choose to be thankful. I choose to see, be aware, look around and see the greatness of Allah. I look and see the power of Allah. Because of Allah this earth spins. Because of Allah there's trees that produce oxygen. Because of Allah I exist. I see the power of Allah. I will be humble before Allah. I will humble myself. I'm not those in a trance that cannot see Allah's power. I'm not of those in a trance who cannot see Allah's grace freely given to us. We don't do anything to be, we don't do anything to continue to be, we don't do anything to cause us to live and continue to live. We're part of a universal life support system. Allah has provided for us. You plant seeds, you get trees. There's animals. There's people. We can take people and be with them close to each other as humane before Allah. Humane. We can choose more humane people. We can be more humane. And we can choose more humane people. We can choose to be more humane. And we can choose more humane people. We can have this as our vision. Get what I mean? Not worshipping Satan, lost in trances, denying Allah's power, denying Allah's qudrat, denying Allah's giving nature, granting nature. I choose to be grateful, I choose to be thankful. I have Allah, the refuge, to guide me beyond my ungratefulness. I choose to be grateful, I choose to be thankful, I choose to recognize the blessings, I choose to rejoice the benefits of the blessings. I choose to appreciate, I choose to enjoy, I choose to celebrate Allah's gifts upon us. The Quran says, which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? I choose to recognize I'm a denier to some degree, and I am sorry. Every day I choose to go beyond this trance of unawareness and subconscious living, to emerge as a humane human being and to choose more humane human beings. That's who I want in my life. I don't want non-believers in my life. I want people who are freely giving to Allah, freely giving to themselves, to their bodies, to their lives, and giving to others and giving others good to them. I want that in my life. This is what I'm choosing. So we are guided that there is a refuge beyond living, feeling unsupported and separate. There's no such thing as anybody is unsupported. Everybody is supported by Allah. Everybody is objectively sustained. The sun is shining on everybody. The earth is spinning for everybody. Allah is objectively sustaining, subjectively satisfying. Allah has given us His favor. It's in this world. You invoke it, it's yours. There is people, things and experiences in this world. There is high quality people, things and experiences. You can be a higher quality human being if you choose. If you claim the refuge with Allah, you can be a higher functioning human being. I choose that. I choose to go beyond my ego desires. I choose to receive Allah's good in this world and the world beyond. I choose natural living. I choose feeling good naturally. I choose to be caring to the right people. I choose more caring right people to be in my life. This is what I'm working towards every day. As Allah has guided me that I require refuge. I am insecure. Whatever I see, whatever's going on around me, I mustn't get lost in it. No matter how disturbing it is, I always remind myself, Allah is my refuge. Allah is sufficient for me. And I'm claiming that refuge. Allah has guided us that we require a refuge, that He is our refuge. He is sufficient as a refuge. You get what I mean? I said to you last week, and I want to complete this analogy, that it's like we need to take a shower. When I say need, you know what I mean? It's like we require a shower. Sometimes we realize, hey, I require a shower. I've got to clean my body now, right? The body has gone into a state of impurity. When I say that, I mean uncleanliness. And then you realize, I require a shower. There is a shower. You don't have to go and buy it from the hardware store and make up a shower. There is, in your home, water, a shower, a bath, whatever it is. And then you get into the shower and you wash off that impurity. Get what I mean? Now the same. We require a spiritual shower. People might not believe this, they might not accept this. But if you look at our lives, if you look at our emotional states, if you look at our trances, you realize, I need that spiritual shower of peace. And Allah is that shower. Allah is that healing presence. And I claim that. I claim that. A'uzu, I claim that. I take that opportunity. I am placing myself in the refuge. You see, until you do that, you will not experience the refuge. The refuge is so important. When you say A'uzu, it means a whole lot of things, in terms of I recognize I am lost in trances. I recognize I'm in an impure state. I recognize there is for me to purify my heart, to bring to Allah a purified heart. Allah is that refuge from the darkness within my own mind, the darkness in my heart. Get what I mean? My fear, my guilt, my shame, my unworthiness. Allah is that refuge. See? It starts with A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir. Allah, you are my refuge. You are sufficient as a refuge. I require the refuge. I'm claiming that refuge. I'm taking that refuge. A'udhu is different from isti'ahada. Isti means I seek from Allah. A'udhu is I am claiming there is a refuge there. You don't have to ask Allah to be your refuge. Allah is your refuge. Allah is championing of humanity. Through His guidance, Allah could have left human beings to live in hell forever. You understand? Allah could have left us to live in horror of the mind and disbelief and faithlessness and insecurity forever. But Allah sent to all people messengers. Allah sent us the guidance. We have the guidance. And we can claim that refuge for those of us who want to claim that. I claim that refuge. I don't want to perpetuate who I've been. I don't want to perpetuate how I've lived. I don't want to perpetuate what I've experienced. I desire higher. And Allah's refuge, the refuge of Allah is sufficient for me. Allah's refuge is enough for me. Allah is enough for me. His refuge. No matter what is going on, no matter what I'm thinking, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter how I've been, no matter what I'm living, Allah is my refuge. I am choosing that greater security with Allah beyond the insecurities that I am riddled with and the tendencies that I have, mental negative tendencies, behavioral negative tendencies, destructive tendencies, self-defeating, life-destructive ways. I'm claiming that refuge with Allah. Once you claim that refuge with Allah, you can begin to focus on demonstrating human excellence. You can live with a vision. I can tell you from my own experience, Allah has been my guide and guided me to this point, and Allah guides me beyond this point. That I've claimed the refuge with Allah, Allah guides me to live with human excellence. Allah says, you're the best of creation, to show humanity the light, that we human beings have a potential within us. and a possibility to live. As believers, as receivers, we can be the light in our lives, and we can be the light in other people's lives. We can live with an aspiration of the highest vision we can have for ourselves. And the greatest vision of our lives, natural. If you haven't claimed the refuge with Allah, you'll never know the beautiful nature of Allah as all gracious. You will never submit to Allah. And you will never be choosing a vision for yourself. If you're living with a vision other than human excellence, a highest version of you, a greatest possibility for your life, Allah's good for you in this world. If you're not living with the vision of human excellence in this world through your death and beyond, if you're not living to be an aware and experiencing human being, if you're not living to express more humanity, to give to Allah, to give to yourself, your body, your life, and to the right people, and to have the right people give to you. If you're not living with that ambition, with that aspiration, then you're not really saying Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban, which is basically, Allah, that I live with aspiration for your best in this world, and I choose to show up as the highest functioning human being that I can. I have a vision to be a certain way. I have a vision to be peaceful and patient and loving and compassionate and forgiving and pardoning and merciful. I choose to access that love and compassion that you put in my heart for me and for other human beings. I choose to demonstrate it rather than live as a machine, in your head. You got to live. Those of us who are claimers of the refuge, we will then have an aspiration to be the best we can be for ourselves and for those we love. We won't just carry on with our highest aspirations, earning money and paying our bills and, competing with the Joneses or whatever it is people are up to. Shukr to Allah who has guided me to claim refuge with Him, to understand what that actually means. And I'm grateful that I have what I require. What I require, I recognize what I require. I recognize that I require the refuge with Allah. And I claim that refuge. It's like I know I need a bath. When I need a bath, I know I require it, and I take it. And I know sometimes when I don't feel good, when my mind tells all funny things and my energy is not right, Satan is whispering to me, I know what I require. Purity with Allah, cleansing with Allah. Allah is my refuge, will take me beyond the darkness of this world, the fiction that I've lived and I'm living, into the fact of His grace in this world and the world beyond. Allah has guided me. When you claim the refuge, He'll guide you to what you can be, the vision for you, how you want to live, how you want to show up in the world, how you want to be for yourself and other people, and who you want to have in your life. Shukr to Allah who has guided me, who continues to guide me. Other than Allah, we have no guide. If you have taken guides other than Allah, then I feel sorry for you. Allah is Al-Hadi, the guide. There is no other guide. There's only Allah, the guide. We submit to Allah for truth, and we apply ourselves beyond the darkness of our hearts and minds, where Satan has whispered to. In the worship of Allah, we are protected. Satan will have no authority over us. Shukr to Allah. All praise, glory and thanks is due to Allah Almighty. His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.